Okay, what we're doing, we're going to add chords to our rhythm track. So if you open up GarageBand, instead of new project, or if you click on new project, but then we go recent. Okay, and here's what I did last week for my demonstration. We want rhythm track penguins. Okay, so I did a rhythm track for the penguins here. Now you see there's purple things here, they can help us. That counts a pulse, and I played exactly with that. So I've got a steady beat. Okay, but if you want to slow down and speed up, then don't worry about that. This gives us a count in, so we know when to start, okay? Now what I'm going to do, because I play to a steady beat, I'm going to have these two things turn on, my 4 beats counting and my metronome, and we go track, new track. Our launch key is plugged in, and we're going to create software instrument because our launch key is going to play one of these sounds, okay? Now, it selects piano, that's okay. I'm going to suggest that we use a fairly long sort of a sound. So let's see what we've got. If we go into orchestral, and then we go into strings and string ensemble, let's just see what that sounds like. Yeah, that's okay. Righto, so now let's just go across to our launch key and have a look at our chords before we start to play.
Okay, so now we just had a look at how to open up GarageBand and how to open up to the rhythm track we did last week. If you haven't finished that, you really need to finish that because this is the next step. We're adding to it each week. We're adding a different component for our film score. Okay, say it's fairly tense sort of a thing. We're learning in our other session in Note Flight about chords. And there's an A minor chord. See how we've got 3 black notes there. There's A, there's C, there's E. Okay, so that's a fairly sad sort of a tense sort of a chord. Now here's a nice little tip. If we move up one, that's B diminished chord, okay? And that's fairly tense sounding, okay. And then we could go down one to a G. So if we could just use 3 chords like this. And we decide, do we want to hold them for a really long time with our beat, okay, or how fast is the action? We want to sort of do something like this. Doesn't have to be all the same, you can make up a little rhythm with it. Let's do that with a little bit of a rhythm. So in GarageBand, we're going to hit record, okay. So I'm just going over here to my GarageBand. You know how to do that, so I won't bother putting that in the movie. I've shown you how to select the sound, you know, for a string ensemble. You can change the sound later, don't worry. And you can also change the speed later in GarageBand, okay? And you can start doing this with your movie in GarageBand. Here we go. So it's going to give me a little counting. I don't have to come in straight away. And we could go soft and loud. Hold the long one at the end. Okay, we hit stop on our GarageBand, and I think that's going to sound pretty good. Something to start with, and my film score is starting to take shape. I can add my motif to it later. I can add some hit points in with more percussion, and we can start to build it up and then synchronize it to the film.